What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, we got a pretty interesting looking SCP. Literally looks like a cross from a human, chicken, and naked mole rat fused into one. Like, it's kind of wacky, but this SCP is SCP-3199, Humans Refuted. It's a kind of weird name for SCP, Humans Refuted. I don't know what they're trying to imply, but maybe there were previously humans that got transformed into something that's not human anymore. We shall see, but I'm sure it'll be interesting to say the least. So with that all out the way, if you guys are excited for this reaction, please remember to smash that like button like always if you do enjoy the reaction. And also remember to smash the sub button as well. These are the stops, man. I'm telling you guys, these are the pit stops where you pick up stragglers. If you enjoy my content, you love SCP reactions, and you love my reaction style, it's going to be a no-brainer, and it behooves you to sub and, you know, stay plugged for more content. And talking about staying plugged, remember to smash that notification button, because with YouTube, they don't always promote videos even if you're subbed to the creator. So if you really want to catch uploads right when they drop, remember to smash the notification button and stay plugged. And also special shout out to TheRubber for bringing this animation to fruition so we can react to it today. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. It looks pretty interesting, so I'm excited to dive deep. Alright, I hope you guys all strapped in, because before we get started, before we go balls deep, I got a special announcement to make, and I'll be announcing it towards the end of the video. So stay tuned till the end of the video so you guys hear about what I gotta say. Is mainly revolving about the channel and me branching out to different things that you guys will definitely like 100%. So it's mainly stuff that you guys have been waiting for, and I'm happy to deliver it. So stay tuned to the end of the video so you guys could find out exactly what I'm talking about. So with that all out the way, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-3199, Humans Refuted. Let's get it.
Suddenly, SCP-3199 jumped right at one of the personnel. They barely had time to react before it escaped from the corridor. They
What? Oh, hold up.
To blow it escaped from the...
What is this dude, bro? Yo, what? Okay, this literally looks like an uncooked turkey. What? Oh my god, let's just keep it going. Bro, actually, no, I gotta say something. If it didn't have a head, it would remind me of those creatures from Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's so old, but it's about this purple dog that saves like his you know, his masters and stuff. But basically, there's an episode where it's like Revenge of like the chicken people from outer space. And it's like literally like turkeys without a head and shit. Like, this shit is giving me those vibes. If you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comment section below, because I don't want to be the only one, you know, thinking that. Like, come on now, let's get it.
Corridor. They fired off enough rounds to blow a chunk out of its chest. 3199 let out the most awful scream. Hello, everybody. I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Keter Class Object SCP-3199. SCP-3199, also known as human, is a sentient humanoid species of a currently unknown biological origin, though tissue samples suggest traces of domestic chicken and chimpanzee DNA.
Bro! Okay, I was right about the chicken, but I was wrong about the naked mole rat. But yo, I was close. Yo, I was close. A freaking monkey, though? Interesting.
3199 is hairless, stained with a thin layer of albumin, and stand at an average of 2.9 meters. A matured 3199 weighs around 780 kilograms, and a hatchling weighs at 360 kilograms.
These dudes are ugly.
The necks of 3199 appear dislocated and are capable of twisting approximately 340 degrees, presumably due to the nature of 3199's reproductive cycle. SCP-3199 is an opportunistic hunter, engaging with live subjects within a radius of 0.6 kilometers surrounding hatchlings that have not yet reached full adolescence.
Oh my goodness.
Its average speed is recorded at 25 kilometers per hour. Upon contact with human or animal subjects, 3199 will kill them, liquefying their internal organs and bone structure.
How? How does it liquefy? Whoa, they better go deep in that.
The cadaver is then given to the young and utilized as a form of nourishment.
Dang.
Instances of 3199 have been observed producing large eggs of an off-white coloration and rubbery appearance.
Rubbery?
These eggs will pass through its stomach, esophagus, and eventually extract via the mouth, followed by a highly corrosive red substance.
Shit from aliens.
SCP-3199 shows extreme distress throughout the entire process.
How are those eggs not cracking, though? Oh wait, it's like rubbery eggs. I was about to say, like, from that height, that shit should be cracking.
SCP's personnel describing the sound as not dissimilar to a scream. Presumably, due to a biologically ingrained method of avoiding extinction, SCP-3199 will always
my
produce
God.
its eggs to fill all available space. This anomalous property currently has no known limit, and as a result, may pose an LK-class species transmutation scenario.
Whoa, haven't heard that one.
Termination of 3199 can be performed with relative ease. However, a complete
good.
eradication is currently difficult, as all instances of 3199, regardless of age, will always carry one egg inside their stomach to ensure survival for at least one member of their species at all times.
Wow. No matter what age, a newborn will have, that's just crazy. A newborn will have an egg in them just for survival. Wow. I mean, that is smart because they're so easy to be, dealt with. So makes sense.
The eggs from 3199 have proven to be extremely resilient. Experiments shows the egg sample lacking visible signs of damage after subjection to extreme blunt force trauma, extensive pressure exceeding 180,000 psi, high precision blades, and even long-term acid exposure. Use of point-blank explosives was suggested, but never tested, because heat exposure has been determined to accelerate hatch rates, and thus detonation may run the risk of a containment breach.
Wow, okay, I'm assuming the eggs evolved over time to be this durable, which is so cool. That's so cool in like their evolution trait that the eggs are this durable to make sure that they're going to be alive to take place of a fallen comrade. Wow, that's crazy.
During the intense heat exposure experiment, an egg sample from 3199 was secured in a containment cell that gradually increased its temperature at an average rate of 7 degrees Celsius per minute.
Holy shit.
After approximately 9 minutes, the egg ruptured violently and produced a single hatchling.
Okay.
On-site personnel reacted swiftly, trying to recontain the newborn instance. However, the excessive internal temperature impacted the physical growth of the young instance.
I wouldn't be surprised if these hatchlings had like spawn protection. So shit from Call of Duty. Like, dude, the shell's already hella durable. Like, say like they get awakened. They they're born from the shell, and like people try to shoot them. It might just ricochet because they have that spawn protection. Like that would be kind of cool, just to make sure that it could like grow up to be durable to like fend off it for itself. I won't be surprised. It won't be a reach from, what we heard right now.
And it reached adolescence at an accelerated rate of 40 seconds. As a result, it produced 2 further instances of 3199. On-site security response was swift, and all 3 instances were detained.
40 seconds? Because of the heat. Wow. So if you use heat, it could like literally mature within 40 seconds? Bro.
All future heat testing involving 3199 egg samples has been forbidden until further notice.
Thank God.
In the liquid nitrogen bath experiment, an egg sample was submerged entirely in liquid nitrogen. After approximately 45 minutes of exposure, SCP-3199 had reached negative 190 degrees Celsius.
Damn.
Following 2 hours of exposure, the egg sample was removed and placed under extreme pressure. As a result, hydraulic press peaked at pressures of around 9,000 psi.
Jeez.
Cracks appeared 30 minutes into exposure.
That's a lot.
The sample shattered. Egg fragments were collected and furthermore pressed into a fine pulp.
Oh.
0 traces of albumin or yolk were located. Incineration of these remains proved successful at destroying the egg in its entirety.
Wow.
SCP-3199 was discovered in Ireland after reports of an unidentified, bald creature crying like a banshee from within a dense woodland resulted in the dispatching of MTF Omega-19.
Okay.
MTF Omega-19 arrived around 2100 hours. They were told that if they could not catch 3199, the next best thing would be snapping a frame or 2. Then the Foundation hooked them up with the best night vision hardware. An hour later, they found a shack made from scrap metal and wood.
Okay.
It looked a lot like an oversized chicken coop. The team then entered the shack. Suddenly, SCP-3199 jumped right at one of the personnel. They barely had time to react before it escaped from the corridor.
That run though, bro.
They fired off enough rounds to blow a chunk out of its chest.
Okay.
3199 let out the most awful scream. Unfortunately, 2 personnel lost their lives during the action.
Oh,
Their internal organs and jaws were almost entirely dissolved.
They really need to, they need to explain how these organs and bones are getting dissolved. I want to know, like, what is this SCP really doing to these humans? Because it's not blunt trauma, like it's dissolved.
During
or
transportation
liquefied.
back to Site
Same
114,
shit.
3199 produced 2 more offspring, resulting in the deaths of another 6 personnel.
Oh my god, just the offspring?
On 2017, the Foundation did a thorough sweep of 3199's initial recovery location. It was performed to uncover any further information regarding their origin. Locals claimed that the small remote residence in question has been established in the woods for several years. Surface Team D029 managed to recover several items of interest, including 1 bag of assorted thread and needles,
Okay.
3 chicken feather quills, 13 chicken carcasses with precise incisions located on the underbelly, neck, and thigh. Unbelievably, 6 of the carcasses had been plucked, with visible human teeth marks lining the bare areas seemingly at random.
What?
The team also recovered several containers, including water bottles and Tupperware boxes, holding an unidentified watery paste.
Are they creating these
The
SCPs?
paste is deep brown in color, and when exposed to oxygen, it becomes viscous and hard. An A5 notebook, heavily scratched with human fingernails,
Open when
was
we are
also
pure.
found amongst the stuffs. The words, "Open when we are pure," are written on the front of the notebook.
Bro, I think someone created these SCPs. Or, I mean, this SCP-3199. Whoa, with all the chicken carcasses and everything, like, what the hell? All we need is just a monkey's paw, and then it's set.
The notebook itself consisted of 24 pages of standard lined paper written in non-anomalous black ink. 19 of these pages consisted of various cuboid patterns and crude, childlike illustrations vaguely resembling SCP-3199.
Definitely.
On the remaining 5 pages, large lines of writing detailed the diary of an unnamed individual. Most of what was written was found totally illegible. However, 1 extract dated in 1973 was written
1973?
with notably higher clarity. And quote, "If you're reading this, then lucky you. 1 millionth hour from not and it'll be fun. And the wonderful versatility of inferior human DNA will give birth to a new era.
Wow.
A stronger era. One where food and water will be nothing but things of the past. As we make and make and make more for the better future. I really haven't much time. That's why I envy you so. You'll have all the time you need. Time will be on, and death will be life. New life changes lives and brings smiles like a freshness. New life will be a part of life from now on." The final page consisted of several ink blots, 13 instances of the word life in various sizes, and 2 instances of the words, "Didn't you want this?" SC.
Wow. That was a lot. We actually got a man-made SCP. Whoever I want to know who created this SCP now. And that is insane. He probably tried to create, a higher breed of humans, but it ended up being this abomination, to be honest. And talking about like how life goes on and on, he's referring to, which I'm assuming, and I'm assuming it's a dude. It could be a girl. I'm referring that he is saying that literally life goes on because they produce literally another egg right when they're born. So even if they die, another egg will take that place and life will always go on. And that's why he's probably saying, like, didn't you want this? I'm assuming maybe someone told him to do this, and then he didn't like how it turned out, and maybe he was writing that message for that person, saying, didn't you want this? This is what you wanted. But it was more than what he expected. Or she. So, this is getting good so far, man.
SCP-3199 was issued Keter classification on June 10th of 2017, following the events of a containment breach. After the breaching incident, SCP-3199's original water containment method was disassembled and replaced with the current resin solution. Besides, Protocol 34-22-B poached will be carried out during the event of a breach. The following steps are the procedure of this protocol. On-site personnel with Level 1 security clearance or above initiate standard lockdown procedure and immediately move to Site 113, unless instructed otherwise. Site 114 is to be filled entirely with distilled water, treated with Class A sedatives. Then, Surface Team Tango 306-A will be notified and dispatched, and instructed to retrieve any instances of SCP-3199's eggs.
Wow.
Any living instances of 3199 will be terminated on site, and their remaining eggs will be collected.
Can they swim
All
though?
egg samples
Hold
are
up.
to be transported to temporary
Hold up, hold up, hold
off-site any instances treated with Class A sedatives. Then, Surface Team Tango
Let me see this
306-A
again.
will be notified and dispatched and instructed to retrieve any instances of SCP-3199's eggs. Any living
Oh, he's
instances
just
of
walking?
3199 will be terminated on site.
That looked hella weird. He was just walking underwater with no tanks, no nothing. Like what? What? Let's just make sure we're not going crazy.
Any
This dude is literally just walking casually underwater. No air bubbles, nothing. Does he not need oxygen to survive? They didn't state that yet. Which is pretty uncanny because it's part chicken. Chicken needs oxygen. Monkeys need oxygen. So where in your DNA lineage or whatever makes this possible? I don't know. This is weird.
Any living instances of 3199 will be terminated on site, and their remaining eggs will be collected. All egg samples are to be transported to temporary off-site containment. Site 114 will then be drained, and janitorial staff dispatched to thoroughly clean the area.
Call an RD class.
Any personnel attempting to breach Site 114 before this inspection is complete will be apprehended and suspended accordingly. Some personnel have displayed skepticism regarding the necessity of this protocol. However, Dr. Watt believes that fluid
Dr.
is an
Watt.
excellent counter to 3199's anomalous reproductive properties.
Fluid?
It appears to enter an inert state in the presence of liquid, regardless of thickness or clarity.
Oh, okay.
There are two
That
theories
makes sense.
regarding this occurrence. First, SCP-3199's need for survival demands all of its attention to focus on not drowning.
Oh, there's air
Second,
bubbles now.
SCP-3199 considers the liquid around it as full space, and as a result does not produce any egg when submerged.
Wow, that's a smart way to go about it. To stop the breeding. Bro, that's crazy. And that's the end of the video too. Dang. That was an interesting SCP. More than I expected. I thought it was going to be a pretty wonky one, to be honest. But it's cool that it's monkey and a chicken, I'm assuming, with human DNA. But when they were talking about like the stuff that they found when they found that book, how it was like being created, there was like no monkey corpses or anything like that. I'm assuming this should be like a monkey and a chicken, or like something that shows that, you know, they're referring to like a monkey being part of this creature. Let's go back.
Thread and needles, 3 chicken feather quills, 13 chicken carcasses
13.
with precise incisions located on the underbelly,
Yeah.
neck, and thigh. Team also recovered several containers, including water bottles and Tupperware boxes.
Yeah, I mean, there was like nothing about monkeys. I wish they should have incorporated something about like a monkey's trait within this SCP. Would have made it a little bit cooler, because just monkey just seemed like they just threw it in there. I mean, I feel like it would be closer to Nick and Morat. They're hairless, so like if it's a monkey, wouldn't it have hair? Chicken and monkey. How did that become hairless? Maybe because of the human part, but who knows? Anyway, I really thought it was interesting to find the diary and like this being a man-made SCP. Alleged is not, you know, canon per se, but from what we read, come on, someone created this SCP, and I want to know why. But anyway, with that being said, this ends the reaction. If you guys enjoyed the reaction, please remember to smash that like button. It means the world, especially if you made it all the way to the end. Don't know why you made it this far if you did not like it, so please smash it. It'll be awesome. And also smash the sub button if you're not already part of the family. I make content like this daily for you guys, so you'll always get that dose of SCP heat. And remember to turn on post notifications as well. And without any further ado, you guys made it to the end of the video. Man, this is awesome because I will be making a Patreon page specifically for this channel. And within that page, I'll be reacting to certain SCP content that are, you know, hit or miss on YouTube that probably will, like, you know, get me in trouble if I do react to it. So it'll be safer to do it on Patreon. And that is where I'll be reacting to mainly channels like the Vogan and SCP Illustrated and Explorer series. There's a few videos I already have on my, you know, radar that I want to react, but it's hit and miss. If you guys let me know, like, is it safe to react to those on YouTube? Right now, I don't feel like it's 100% safe because it's not like animations or anything. So just to be safe, we're going to start that on Patreon. And with Patreon, you guys could like tune in. If you have never heard of Patreon, it's similar to like YouTube, but it's like more of a membership thing. That's where I'll be posting those reactions. And the best part is with Patreon, I'll be talking to most of you guys, the people that are Patreon members, listen to your recommendations. There's certain ones that you guys want me to react to more. I'll do it there because there's nothing like holding me back compared to like YouTube where there's so many restrictions. Patreon is more free reign, and I could literally listen to all you guys' suggestions and, you know, implement them on Patreon. So if you guys are excited about that, I'll be dropping it around, I think next week. It should be up and running. So yeah, I hope you guys are all excited for that, and keep that in mind because you guys want certain you know, breakdowns of SCPs that I already covered with animations, but there's other thorough ones from like SCP Illustrated or, you know, the Vulcan. Let me know and I'll cover it on Patreon. I'll make a schedule as well too, so you guys know exactly when I'm dropping. I know a few guys have been waiting for this because so far I've been only doing animation, so hopefully this will make everyone happy. And I'm excited because there's so much more I want to know about SCPs, and those videos might have some of the answers that I need. So with that all out the way, I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Every reaction means the world, and I can't wait to bring more content for you guys. So with that being said, that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one. With